I wore diamonds on my wedding day, but I cried in the bathroom before walking down the aisle. The room was quiet. Too quiet. The soft sound of the air conditioner hummed in the background. My white dress hung heavy on my shoulders. My hands were shaking as I held the edge of the sink. I stared into the mirror and didn't recognize the woman looking back at me. My makeup was perfect. My hair was curled just right. But my eyes were full of fear. Why am I crying? I asked myself again and again. Is it guilt? Is it fear? Is it something worse? I pressed my hands against my chest. My heart was beating fast, like it wanted to run. But I had nowhere to go. I wiped a tear from my cheek, careful not to smudge the makeup. People were waiting outside. The music would start soon. The man I was going to marry was standing at the altar, smiling. Everyone expected me to smile too. But inside, I felt empty. I looked at myself and whispered, "This isn't joy. This is survival dressed up in lace." My name is Leah. I'm 36 now. But this story began when I was 25. I grew up in a small town in North Carolina. It was a place where everyone knew each other's names. People smiled when they passed you on the street. But behind the smiles, life was hard. We didn't have much. Some days we had food. Some days we didn't. Our lights went off many times. Mama would light candles and say, "It's okay, baby. This is just temporary." So when I met David, rich, handsome, confident, I thought maybe this was my chance. My way out. He was kind. He opened doors for me. He wore suits that smelled like expensive soap and old money. He made me feel safe, at least on the outside. He took me to places I had only seen in magazines. Gave me gifts I didn't feel worthy of. And he never made me feel poor. Not even once. Mama used to say, "You can marry for love, or you can marry for peace. Peace pays the bills, baby." I believed her. I thought peace would be enough. But there's something I never said out loud, not to Mama, not to David, not even to myself, until that moment in the mirror. I already had love, real love. His name was Eli. We were 16 when we started dating. Eli was my first real love. He worked on his uncle's farm in the summers. Every day, he woke up early, fed the cows, watered the fields, and came home with dirt on his clothes and sun on his face. His hands were rough, but his voice was always gentle with me. On weekends, he rode his old, rusty bicycle across town. It squeaked when he pedaled, but he didn't care. He just wanted to see me. He would sit with me on the porch swing, our fingers slowly touching, like a secret between us. He never had much money, maybe $10, sometimes even less. But Eli always brought me something. A soft peach, still warm from the sun. A daisy he picked from the side of the road. Or a small paper heart he folded from an old receipt. Inside, he would write something like, "You are my sunshine," or "For when you miss me." One evening, as we watched the sky turn orange, I asked him, "What do you want to be when we grow up?" He didn't even pause. He looked at me with those warm brown eyes and said, "Happy. With you." That's the kind of boy Eli was. He didn't dream of big cities or big jobs. He dreamed of love, of quiet mornings, of a life with me. But love didn't pay hospital bills when Mama got sick. It didn't stop the letter that said we had to leave our home. I needed more than flowers and folded hearts. Eli was kind. He was love. But David could save us. I married David 6 months after we met. Everything looked perfect. There were white roses everywhere. A string quartet played soft music as I walked down the long aisle. 300 people were there, smiling, clapping, but I only knew a few. I smiled too, but inside, my heart felt heavy. Before the ceremony, David's mother leaned close to me. She wore pearls and perfume. She whispered, "You'll never worry again, dear. You've made a smart choice." I nodded. I wanted to believe her. That night, when the party ended, the lights were off, and the house was quiet, I lay beside David in a big bed. His breathing was calm. But I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling. I felt like a stranger in my own life. And I thought of Eli. He didn't come to the wedding. He never replied to the last message I sent, a simple line, "Please tell me you're okay." No answer. Just silence. And in that silence, I felt something deep, like a soft ache in my chest. A quiet grief. Because even though I had everything, I had lost the one thing that ever truly felt like home. 3 years after the wedding, we moved into a big mansion in the suburbs. The house was beautiful. Cold white marble on the floors. A wine cellar full of bottles I never touched. The walk-in closet was so big, I could lie down in it and still not touch the walls. I had more shoes than I could count. More dresses than I could ever wear. But the house was quiet. Always quiet. David worked late. He left early in the morning and came home after dark. Sometimes he flew to other cities for meetings. Sometimes he didn't call. I tried to stay busy. I went to Pilates with women who smiled but didn't really know me. I had brunch with people who talked about handbags and vacations. I volunteered at the library, helping kids read. Their little voices made me smile, for a while. But then I'd see a boy riding a bike down the street. Or a man at the market picking peaches, holding each one like it mattered. And my heart would twist, just a little. Like something inside me remembered something soft. Something lost. One evening, I was cleaning my closet. I opened an old box full of notebooks and letters. And there, between the pages of a journal, I found it, a small paper heart. Eli had folded it long ago. The edges were worn, the paper yellow now. Inside, in his messy, sweet handwriting, it said, "If you ever forget what love feels like, just open this." I sat on the floor and cried. Not loud. Not wild. Just slow, quiet tears that kept falling. Because I remembered. And it hurt to remember something that real, and that far away. One summer, I went back to my hometown. It was for a funeral. My old neighbor, Miss June, had passed away. She used to give me cookies when I was a little girl. She would smile from her porch and wave at everyone who passed. She was kind. She was part of home. After the service, I didn't want to go straight back. I needed time. So I walked around the old streets, slow and quiet. I passed the gas station where Eli used to buy me chocolate bars. I walked past the porch where we used to sit for hours, saying nothing, just holding hands. I stood in the empty field where he first kissed me. The grass was taller now. The air smelled like summer. And then I saw him. Eli. He was standing near his mama's gate. His shoulders were thinner, and his hair looked a little messy. There were small lines near his eyes. But when he looked at me, it was the same. His eyes still held me gently, like I was the softest memory he never let go. He gave a small smile and said, "Hey, Leah." I couldn't speak for a moment. My throat felt tight. My chest felt full. We sat on the porch of his mama's house, just like before. For a whole hour. We talked about small things. The weather. The town. His work. My travels. Then he asked, softly, "Are you happy?" I nodded. I lied. He looked down and smiled, like he already knew. And he said, "I'm glad you're taken care of." That's all I ever wanted. And that's when I felt it, the truth in my heart. I had broken something beautiful once. And I would never get it back. I returned to Atlanta. Back to the big, quiet mansion. Back to the man who gave me everything, cars, dresses, trips, but could not give me a home inside his heart. Each morning, I woke up in the big bed alone. David was already gone, his phone in his hand, talking to people I didn't know. I tried hard to forget. Forget the old porch where Eli and I sat, holding hands. Forget the sound of his voice, soft, warm, never making me feel small or invisible. But I couldn't. The memories came like waves. Sometimes they made my chest hurt. One night, we had dinner together. The table was full of fancy food, but the air felt empty. David was on his phone again, talking fast about stocks, money, a new hotel opening in Dubai. I sat there, my fork heavy in my hand. Then I asked quietly, "Do you ever miss being in love?" He looked at me with confusion. "What do you mean?" "We are in love." His words were like a cold wind. I didn't say anything back. I just looked down at my plate, feeling the silence between us grow louder and louder. That silence was heavy. It filled the room. Two people sitting together, sharing a table, sleeping in the same bed, but dreaming different dreams. And I realized, sometimes, silence is louder than any words. I didn't leave right away. It took me another whole year to find the courage. Every day, I woke up and tried to be the wife David wanted. I smiled at him at breakfast. I wore pretty clothes. I said the right words. But inside, I felt empty. Like a flower with no sun. David was not cruel. He was kind. He opened doors for me. He gave me nice things. But he never saw the real me. The girl who danced barefoot in the rain. The girl who believed a small paper heart could hold all the love in the world. Maybe it was my fault too. Maybe I stopped showing that girl. Maybe I hid her away because I was scared. The day I finally left, David didn't shout or beg. He looked at me with tired eyes and said softly, "You didn't have to lie." I would have still stayed. I looked down and whispered back, "I didn't want you to stay for someone I'm not." And with that, I walked out the door, leaving behind a life that wasn't mine. I never found Eli again. After I left, I tried to look for him. I asked old friends. I checked places we used to go. But he was gone. No phone number. No social media. No way to reach him. Maybe the universe was kind in its own way. Maybe it was telling me that chapter was closed. That some love stories are not meant to be opened again. Sometimes I feel sad thinking about him. But I also feel grateful. I still carry the little paper heart he made. It's folded and worn now. The edges are soft and the color is fading. I keep it in my wallet, close to my heart. It reminds me of who I was, a girl full of hope and dreams. It reminds me of who I loved, a boy who loved simply and truly. And it reminds me of what I lost, chasing a life that looked perfect in pictures, but felt empty in the dark. Some things stay with us forever, even if they are gone. I married a rich man. The house was big. The clothes were beautiful. But my heart felt small and empty. Every day, I missed Eli, my poor true love. His smile. His kindness. The way he made me feel safe, even with nothing. But it was more than missing him. I was missing the girl I used to be. The girl who believed love was enough. That love could fix everything. And now, I wasn't sure if she still existed inside me. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon, yeah. And before you go, tell me in the comments, where are you listening from?